NCAA swimmer Rekha Gyorgy is now calling on the organization to change its rules, which allow biological men to compete against women. The swimmer's call comes less than a week after transgender athlete Leah Thomas won the Division I national championship in the 500-yard freestyle. So could this be a turning point in the fight against the inclusion of biological men in women's sports? Here to discuss is the First TV's Morgan Zegers. Morgan, good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Buck.
In an open letter to the NCAA, Ms. Gyorgy, I think that's how you say it, writes, "She is doing what she is passionate about and deserves that right. On the other hand, I would like to critique the NCAA rules that allow her to compete against us who are biologically women. I'm writing this letter now in the hopes the NCAA will open their eyes and change these rules in the future. It doesn't promote our sport in a good way, and I think it is disrespectful against the biologically female swimmers who are competing in the NCAA." So do you think this might be part of a turning of the tide here, Morgan, against the inclusion of men in women's sports? I would also, just before you answer, say it's very nice of Ms. Gyorgy to refer to Leah Thomas as she repeatedly, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Buck, this is really a multi-layered issue here. You have the wokeness of Gen Z kind of working against the generation's own betterment. And by that, I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but one of the three top swimmers that were female in the race that Leah won actually wrote an op-ed for Newsweek promoting Leah and saying she's happy for her to be competing. And she's a lesbian herself that has a girlfriend, and her girlfriend helped her edit the op-ed in support of Leah. And so to read it and see a female athlete happy to lose to a biological male after the woke people have taught her that that's how things should be is insane to me. So that's why I'm really happy to see that in pushback of the wokeness of Gen Z, this female wrote an open letter in defense of women's sports. Now, my big lesson on this is that Gen Z can't accept the fact that sometimes life comes with consequences. Decisions come with consequences. And if we were all adults that could operate with objective truth, Buck, we would be able to look at this and say, you know what, becoming a different gender and going through with that transition is a major decision, and it will come with pros and cons. One of those cons is going to be that, yeah, you can swim. Nobody's stopping you from swimming. You can have fun all you want, but maybe you're not going to be allowed in some of those competitions where fairness really matters when you are competing for serious medals and scholarships. That's got to be something that we come to grips with as a society, and I think that would be a nice middle of the road stance to take.
In the social media realm, there is no middle of the road on this issue, it seems, Morgan. There is only one acceptable narrative, and anybody who deviates from that can find themselves locked out from their account, which, if you have a business account, let's say, if you run a media organization like the Babylon Bee does, can be quite a financial problem. The Babylon Bee has been suspended from Twitter, this is, of course, on the trans issue as well, for presenting Rachel Levine as Man of the Year. Now, this was in response to, I believe it was Time Magazine or USA Today, I forget, one of them had, I think it's Time, right? Man of the Year, I'm sorry, Woman of the Year, they had Rachel Levine. Babylon Bee responded with Man of the Year. Babylon Bee's Twitter account has been suspended. I spoke to Seth Dillon, who is the guy who runs the Babylon Bee. He says as of right now, they refuse to delete the tweet, which is the price that Twitter demands for reinstatement of the account. What do you think about this?
Well, I've got to say, Seth Dillon is an amazing guy, and he leads a great company. And so it's really nice to see men leading the charge in something like this that negatively affects women so much. And so I hope that people look at this censorship and don't get scared, but instead say, wow, they really want us to start saying 2 + 2 = 5, and we will not comply with that. Buck, what I'm worried about is we've been warning that this would happen, that it wouldn't just be an election issue of if you disagreed on something regarding the election, you are removed, or if you're President Trump and you say inappropriate things according to the left, then you're removed from the platform. Now it's with every issue. And so we can expect to see that when the left creates these barriers for people, it's going to be used with every political issue from now on, and they use it as a crisis. I was just at a college campus speaking last week, and because I talked about the assaults that go on of women in girls' bathrooms when they get attacked by men who go into them once they're opened up to trans women, I'm getting all confused with the words right now. I said that that's wrong because women are in danger, and the proof is in the pudding there. And so I did a story on it. What do you know? The students came and protested me, Buck, and said that I was a transphobe. So now is not the time to back down. Now's the time to really ground ourselves in objective truth and speak out louder than ever, especially in defense of groups like the Babylon Bee, who are harmless.
I do think that there's real evidence that some of the supporters of trans individuals, apart from actual trans individuals for the purposes of this point I'm about to make, have a real mental illness, like there's a problem with them. I mean, I would point to, for example, the claim that has been made among some left-wing writers that heterosexual males who are not sexually attracted to trans women, as in biological males who transition in whatever way that means, there's no even specifics on it, are transphobic. That's the word that they will use, and are bigoted. That seems to me like something a crazy person would say, because it's so obviously just bonkers. And then also now, and this comes in with the Leah Thomas situation, you have people on the, or rather you have Leah Thomas, and then the people on the left who will say, what's the problem with these women or anybody else who has a problem with a naked man and all that that entails dressing among women? I mean, so Leah Thomas, you know, it would be if some guy walked into the women's changing room at a gym and just stripped down naked, everybody would say, oh my gosh, what is he doing? This is so disrespectful, and it's really like a form of sexual harassment, sexual exposure to these women. But Leah Thomas says that it's a she, and so it's okay, even though it's actually physically the same manifestation.
Yeah, I mean, Buck, women are really getting the short end of the stick here, and the left is succeeding in the erasure of womanhood. Remember when we used to joke because they called us pregnant people and breastfeeding persons or chest feeding?
Menstruating persons, I believe, as well, yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just they keep attacking us in these little ways, and now it's turned into, well, it's okay if a few women get attacked in the bathroom because, in general, we're helping the less than 1% of society that's trans feel comfortable in their own space. Or it's okay that all of the women in the NCAA are subjected to unfair competition every time they compete. Imagine the mental toll that that takes on someone. And what I believe in is that we have to defend these things. They may seem small to some people, but defending these basic concepts of when in a society we set up a competition, there should be basic rules of fairness and competition. That is the most basic concept, right? And the fact that we can't even agree on that is very concerning for me moving forward. But now that we're getting into this concept of even awarding men the award titled Woman of the Year or Best Athlete, whatever it may be, it's like an extra smack in the face because they're taking away our safety, our womanhood, the beautiful gift that it is to create life and to breastfeed a child and to do all those things that women can only do. It's fascinating. And not only that, when I was at the campus last week, Buck, being called a transphobe, the other thing they called me was a misogynist because they said that my internalized misogyny put into me by my conservative values is, what do you know, hateful towards women and hurts women. So these words that they throw around are ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with being pro-woman. It doesn't make you misogynist. It doesn't make you bad to promote motherhood and femininity, not feminism. And it's definitely not anti-trans or misogynist to defend women's sports and women's safety.
Morgan Zegers, speaking a lot of sense, as always. Good to see you.
Thanks, Buck.
The mayor of Boston is coming under fire for some racially charged comments made during a St. Patrick's Day event. I'll have that story for you and more in Quick Hits. Stay with us.